Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Ready to PebbleGo back to school webinar. It's one webinar in a series of webinars where we're going to be exploring teamwork in a back to school lesson today. Let's see if it will turn pages. There we go. My name is Angie Kaltoff, and I work at Capstone as an innovation advisor. And my colleague Jenna might be joining us behind the scenes to help out with any technical issues. And we have our guest host today with us, Jennifer. She is a national board certified elementary school media specialist for the Frederick County Public Schools in Frederick. And previously, she worked as a high school media specialist in Ohio as an elementary school media specialist. Oh, and as an elementary media school specialist in Kentucky. And she is someone who loves to learn, and she's looking forward to her 24th year as a media specialist and implementing new ideas for her learners. And we're so excited to have her here with us today. If you haven't yet in the chat, let us know what back to school means to you today. The district that I formerly taught in this week was teacher workshop week. We would have some new teacher workshop ahead of us, and then all of the teachers would come back and we'd have some time in our classroom, and then we would officially start the day after Labor Day. But I know we have some people who are already back to school and some people who didn't have a summer break at all. So I'm just curious in the chat, let us know what back to school means to you today. And like I just mentioned, we want to inspire your students and you to create that dynamic learning environment from day one. So this is one webinar in a series of many, and you can learn all about them at the URL on your screen, or you can sign this QR code to bring you there and sign up. If you sign up for the webinar, you can get a recording sent to you. And if you attend live, you'll get a CEU, or a continuing education unit. So I'm going to start off with at Capstone. Our purpose is we help kids succeed by making learning fun. And these are the core values. And we start all of our meetings thinking about our core values and how we're helping kids succeed by making learning fun. So today I am going to invite everyone to join us in letting curiosity lead the way as we think about back to school and learn from Jennifer. If you're new to Capstone, we've been around for about 30 years, and we continue to make learning fun. We have print books, picture books. We have PebbleGo, which is a database, nonfiction database for kids. We have Create, we have Connect. We have a ton of great resources that we're hoping to help you utilize with your students and transform your teaching and learning. When you sign back into PebbleGo this new school year, you're going to notice that you have some new content and it's made more accessible for you. We continue to add PebbleGo articles throughout the year. And you might also notice up here some different icons. We've added some educator tools as an option for your account. And this navigation bar up here is always going to stay here. It's going to be consistent, so it's easier for you to move between PebbleGo Next, Capstone Interactive eBooks, and our educator tools. We'd also like to encourage you to have your students show what they know. So while they're learning in PebbleGo, you can add this opportunity for them to make a project to show you what they've learned. And if you'd like to know any more about this, please reach out and we'll connect you. Another fun fact that we have for you today is many of our states have a statewide access. So if you're in one of the states listed on the screen, you might have access to PebbleGo or PebbleGo Next or Capstone Interactive eBooks. And if you don't know about that access, please reach out to us and we would be happy to get you set up and using your resources. So as we think about going back to school, we know that at the district level and the school level, student engagement and motivation is one of the hardest things for us to deal with. So today, Jennifer is going to share with you some activities that she does with her students. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Jennifer.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna pick up, give me just a second to make sure that I have everything ready to share with you guys. My name is Jennifer Siderius, and I am in Frederick County, Maryland. We actually have our first day with students tomorrow. So this
Ooh.
lesson is really on my brain because it is one that I use at the beginning of every school year now to kick off the school year in a positive way with my second and third grade students. And Kimberly from Montgomery County, Maryland, we work closely together. So she's heard me rave about this book before. So one of the trends that I noticed in especially the media center, but all of education after COVID and all of us doing that school year either virtually or hybrid or back in school, we've seen a lot of kids who lost that ability to connect to one another in a face-to-face setting because they were spending so much time on devices and they had to, right? As educators, we didn't have a choice. We had to make it the best possible learning environment for them. But as we returned full steam into the school buildings, I realized that a lot of our students, while they had gained all of these technology skills, we were now missing the face to face collaboration and the ability to navigate problems and situations with each other. And I've seen a rise of that over the last couple of school years. So now, when I'm doing my back to school lessons for students, I don't want to just bombard them with these are the school rules and this is how we're going to do things. I want to get their input. And I also really want to stress teamwork because in the library, a lot of what I do with my students relies on teamwork. And I want them to realize that unless we can collaborate and get along, none of us can be successful. So today I'm going to be sharing this lesson with you about one of my favorite books, Box of Text. And you're going to notice I'm going to leave the slide in a moment just to show you these resources. But we're going to talk about the lesson slides. I've already set up a Google slide deck. And I know it's the template version is one of the resources that's going to be put in the chat. And you'll also get a copy of it after the webinar is concluded. You're also going to get a worksheet that I use with my students in this lesson, and also in a teamwork incentive that I use with my third and fourth and fifth grade students throughout the school year called Mystery Rewards. And we're going to be looking at all of those resources today, along with some things that will allow you to adapt and make this lesson your own. So you're going to be able to copy the worksheet, copy the lesson slides, copy that Mystery Rewards template, and make it your own. But then I have some ideas for other STEM challenges in books that you can swap in case you're not familiar with Box of Text or in case you'd rather use a capstone product instead. So let me leave this slide and I am pulling up the slides that I use with my students. And if you can't see it okay, please just interrupt and let me know or drop in the chat that it's not correctly showing. But with my students, I begin the school year by assigning them to teams. So you're going to notice the first thing we do is we talk in the media center about teams and how we are here to work together and learn to work together. I know every state, every school district has different standards, but the media standards for my school district has a lot of embedded standards about being a respectful and responsible member of the learning community, building a culture of reading with members of the learning community. So I stress teamwork from day one. So the very first thing we do is students are assigned to their team. Everyone is color coded with my carpet, and then the tables are color coded to match. They move to as they're waiting for me to call everyone over, they move to their team's assigned color. And as people join them, they tell them their name and one talent that they have. Once I've got everybody settled on our reading area, I introduce this book called Box of Text. If you're not familiar with this book, this is about a STEM maker school where all of the students who go to the school have some kind of talent for making. Some are really good at baking and making things. Some are really good at, they're like spaghetti techs. They can build amazing towers out of spaghetti. And in this book, two girls go to this school, each thinking that they're the best box attack. They are the best at building towers, cars, you name it, out of boxes. So when Simone and Meg get to the school and realize that there is someone equally as talented as them, there's a little jealousy and a little competition. And the school has a annual Maker Day where the kids are encouraged to work together and build a creation. But Meg and Simone just cannot work together to save their lives, and they're racing and competing to outdo each other to build the biggest, the strongest tower. And what happens is everything collapses. And they learned the hard way that if they had worked together, they could have won the whole competition and they could have built something marvelous. And the story ends with them bridging their talents together. And the students and I talk about how this is how we need to be in the media center. It's not a competition. We're not giving out prizes, medals, awards. I'm not giving out cash prizes. Come on, guys, we have to work together. So after we read the book, one thing I like to do is read this PebbleGo article on teamwork. And one thing that I do first is I always go to settings and turn off the sounds so that I love those sounds for when the kids are learning independently, but I don't want to compete with them in class. So we will read all of this information about teamwork together, and we really try to stress these tabs about how communication is important and what that looks like speaking calmly, not interrupting each other. And I also like to highlight this tab about showing respect and about how it can be doing things by making sure everyone's included, that people are forgiven, and that we're all going to make mistakes and move on. And we discuss what it feels like when we have great teamwork. And we connect that to the story, how the girls felt better about themselves, about their work when they were able to cooperate and work together. So the students and I will use all of this information to really think about teamwork, not in an abstract manner, because this is a word that they've heard since kindergarten, right? But do they really know what it looks like, what it sounds like, and can they express that in a concrete way and how it's going to apply, not just in a regular classroom, but in a learning center such as the media center, how that's different from the classroom or similar to a classroom. So then, after the students and I go through the PebbleGo article on teamwork, we do this worksheet together and as a table team. So every team gets a copy of this worksheet and they have to brainstorm for me what teamwork will sound like and what will it look like. And when I'm looking at their team, what evidence am I going to see and hear to know that they're cooperating and they're applying those teamwork skills? Um, One of the reasons I like to do this is that it gives that it's not just a sit and get. It's not me lecturing to them. It's not them just reading it, but it gives them a chance to really show in a concrete way that they know what those teamwork skills are. I also like to use this as a formative assessment to see which teams might need my help. Because one year I had a team say that like teamwork will sound quiet, and we talked about that. Like, is teamwork always quiet? No. Like in teamwork, there's going to be conversations. There's going to be discussion. You might be excited, and like I can hear that in your voices. So teamwork isn't always quiet, but the sound that it might make won't be yelling. It won't be anger. It will be an excited sound. It'll be that hum of everyone getting along. So this helps me see who got it, who do I need to have a deeper conversation with. And I give the students the option of drawing or writing, depending on their skills and how they need to express themselves. So after we've done this activity, we come back together as a whole group to talk about what our norms are. What do we as a class want teamwork to sound like this year? And what do we want teamwork to look like? And my students come up with great ideas, such as like sharing ideas and sharing resources. Like when I'll say, well, what does teamwork look like? We should be using gentle hands. We should be passing things. When I say what does teamwork sound like, you should hear us pausing to listen to one another. You should hear us saying please. You should say thank you. My favorite was when a child told me, you should be hearing praise. We should be like telling each other what a great job somebody is doing. Or if somebody has a great idea, we should say, oh, that's awesome. And I love that because he really captured um, that positive side of teamwork and that what we want out of our students. After we talk about our group discussions and norms and what we want as our class to be successful for this school year, we connect it to our school rules. That's something I know we all cover on day one. And so these are my school's 5 rules that are used throughout the whole school building to make sure the students hear them consistently. And so I want to have that message in the media center as well. And we talk about how teamwork actually enables us to follow all of these school rules with no problems. Part of teamwork is being respectful and getting along and saying please and thank you and sharing things. Being responsible, yeah, you're going to pass those supplies gently and take turns. And so it just gives another chance to reiterate the school rules and how teamwork is captured in all that we do. And then finally, our teams do a quick STEM challenge. Last year, I was fortunate to take a class at the Kid Museum, which is an amazing STEM museum for students in Bethesda, Maryland. And one of the things they had us do as adults, which I loved, is they gave us a bin full of school supplies. And in the, I'm not sorry, you can tell I had first day of school on the brain. I said school supplies, I meant STEM supplies. And so it was just random STEM supplies, popsicle sticks, pipe cleaners, paper clips. And then on a strip of paper, there was a challenge. It might say, let's play. And we were given 5 to 10 minutes to read the prompt. And then as a team, build anything we wanted that matched that prompt. And so I tried this with my students last year at the beginning of the school year. We had a ball. And so you're going to see here some examples. So on the left picture, you'll see the blue bin. My students had rods, they had popsicle sticks, pipe cleaners, and clothespins. And so every team got the exact same bin so that nobody could say somebody had an advantage. And then every team had a different prompt. And I tried to give prompts to teams that I felt could rise to the challenge or needed extra help. So some of my prompts are very specific. Like you'll see on the left, it says, make a house using at least 6 pipe cleaners. And I gave this to a team that I thought might need more assistance. They might have trouble thinking abstractly and they needed a very specific objective. But then on the right, you'll see I gave a different team a prompt that said, let's play. And they gave that to a team that had a lot of higher level thinkers. They're pulled for, enrichment instruction. And I gave that to them to kind of push them a little bit. And they asked, well, what does let's play mean? And I said, let's play could mean anything. In my teacher class, a bunch of us played pickleball. So we built a pickleball court. However, in my class at Kid Museum, there were some people really musically inclined. They built a drum and drumsticks. So I told this team, think about the word play. What does it mean to you? Do you play outside? Do you play a sport? Do you play a musical instrument? And so they really love recess. And so they built monkey bars. So you can see the monkey bars with they turned the green pipe cleaners into the rings and they were trying to demonstrate for me how it would work for like a Barbie doll or a Polly Pocket or something like that. So you can make these STEM challenges to be whatever you want. You can throw in literally any STEM supplies that you have access to or that teachers in your building might be willing to share. And you can also make your prompts as specific as you want or as vague as you want to really meet the needs of your students. Today, I was actually getting my prompts ready for tomorrow's class. And my class tomorrow has a lot of artistic students and a lot of readers in it. So some of my prompts say, build an art supply or let's read. Like maybe they'll build a book or a bookshelf or a pen or headphones, in case you're into audiobooks. So I was really taken with this STEM challenge when they showed it to us at Kid Museum because you can differentiate it to a lot of students. And the other reason I love this is because this gives me a lot of insight to the teams. In the Media Center, I feel like we have an advantage of seeing the students grow from kindergarten through 5th grade. I think I know them well. And when I set up my table groups, as we all do, we try to optimize that for success. Like, oh, Johnny shouldn't be over here with Sally, or we really try to set them up for success. But when they are having to do this very quick STEM challenge, it gives me an insight into how I have maybe not structured my groups to the best that they should be. For example, last year in a third grade class when we were doing this, I realized, for example, the group that did Let's Play, well, they were able to get it together. They were able to meet the prompt and feel really proud of themselves. They did struggle with the teamwork because they were all high level thinkers. They all had a way that they wanted to be done. And as I was going around the room, I could see they were having a hard time finding teamwork skills, like, and like, well, and I'd say, like, is that communication what we learned about on PebbleGo? It said to be respectful, to say please and thank you, and they weren't using it because everybody wanted it to be done their way. And then I had another team that struggled because while they had good ideas, there was nobody who would kind of step out of their comfort zone to be the leader and say, this is what we're going to do. Come on, guys, let's get it done. So even though I thought I had made these good groups, it let me see how, oh, I need to do some tweaking before our next project, before our next thing. And so I think it could give all of us some insight into our students, or like my friend Kimberly, her school's only third through fifth. So if she was going to do this with third grade, she might quickly see, these students are fresh to her. She might quickly see um, who's able to use it, or who needs extra help. And so then we wrap up library with this mystery rewards, and I'm going to exit the slides to show you that template as well, because you'll get a copy of it and you can use it for yourselves. So the mystery rewards is, again, a reward system I use to encourage teamwork throughout the school year and really hold them accountable to the things we learn on day one from PebbleGo and our group norms. And what I do is I have a slide, and in the background of the slide, there is like a mystery picture. And for myself, I'll have like a note down here in the note section that says, like, this is free choice seating. And then I make a copy. So you can see it when you get a copy of this, you'll see I have like my third grade, and then it'll say like the teacher's name, so I remember which class, where they're at. And in the notes I have deleted what the reward is so the kids don't see it and know what they're working for, because I want it to be a fun surprise for them. But I will copy that slide and paste it for each teacher. And I will do different rewards for different teachers. You can see I made one for free choice seating. Cardboard Creation Day is the student's favorite. I save cardboard all year, and then I also have like duct tape and the make do screw sets and yarn and all the STEM supplies. And the kids love coming in and like seeing what they can build out of cardboard. Sometimes we do a game day. We extra checkout day is also popular when they can take home extra books. We sometimes have had a button maker day depending on the class. STEM challenge day, we'll do more of these mystery bins and things to build, which they really enjoy. And then we do extra like coding or robot day. But what happens is I'll think about the class and their personalities and maybe which one will work best for them. And then I covered up the picture with all of these boxes. And in each box, I have put our school rules. The beauty of this is you can go into those boxes and edit them to match your school rules or specific skills you're working on. For example, if I notice that a class is having trouble being respectful, we might review teamwork, and then I might fill some of these boxes in with be respectful and do more of those. But at the end of each library period, as a class, we talk about what we did well or what we need to work on the next time for teamwork. And then I will click on a box and I will delete the things that the kids did well. And I try to delete 3 or 4 every time if it's at all possible, so that it does not take us forever to reach this goal. And as you can see, as I delete boxes for the kids each week, they start seeing part of the picture, so that they kind of get excited about what they're working towards. Um, and then as they start to figure it out, it gives them a little bit more incentive, like, oh, next time you guys have 5. Can we get all 5 next time? And then when they uncover the picture, we have that reward day. Then I pick a new reward for them and we start all over again. So that's the lesson. And I know I probably went way too long. I love teaching. I think it's so much fun to work with the kids, especially on teamwork, because I feel like it's a really important skill that they need in this like generation of social media and everybody being on devices, especially in class all the time. And so the one thing I also wanted to do though is tell you how you could modify this. Oh man, I'm sorry. I Every time I click, it wants to go back to the beginning. I'll try to be speedy, guys.
It's okay. As
I
you're
don't know what.
clicking to it, I was thinking of all the different PebbleGo articles that your students could use, like leadership and respect and
Yes.
responsibility and sportsmanship, and our health module is full of all of them.
Oh, there's my guidance, my school counselor, she loves it that when the health module got added, because there's so much she can use in her lessons and in our school. Like we have something called paths for teaching social emotional learning. There's so many great tie-ins for all of those skills. But I do want to talk about some ways you could adapt this if you don't have box of text and you're not familiar with it. Capstone actually has a lot of titles that instead of doing box of text, you could do a capstone title instead. And I'm going to show you the pictures and then I'm going to exit the slideshow again real quick to show you some of the challenges that would go with it, which again, you'll get in the follow-up email about the webinar. So one book that Capstone has that's really cute is called Kitchen Chaos, about these kittens who want to make sushi for their parents, but everybody wants to do it their way and disaster happens. You can tell by that picture that kitchen is a mess. And they learn that in order to really please their parents, they're going to have teamwork. There's also a book called Mr. Grizzly's Class, and this specific title in the series, it's called Nathan's New Moves. There's a school talent show, and Nathan has a talent that he wants to do with magic, but his friend wants him to come do a dance with him. So that's a choice. Like, is he going to try a new skill and be a team? So again, that's a great thing to talk about in teamwork is you're going to get challenged. You may be trying something new you haven't tried before. And then another capstone book is called May Saves the Day. May has this great power with spelling where she can turn words into other things, like turn B's into beats. And she has a friend who would like to be her sidekick, but she does not want a sidekick. She wants to be a one woman operation. And she begins to realize that teamwork actually makes things better. So if you'd rather use one of those capstone books, then if you use Kitchen Chaos, in the PebbleGo article down at the bottom where it says activity, there is the very fun teamwork activity where you can have students build a tower with spaghetti and marshmallows in case you're allowed to do food with your students. So this one, what I love about this activity from PebbleGo is you can see it's ready to go. You can print it, laminate it, have directions ready for every group ready. If you do the Nathan's Dance Moves on Canva, there and you'll get the link to this template. Somebody has set up coding blocks with different dance moves, so you could print these, cut them out, give each team a set, and then let them put the dance moves together to code their own dance, and then teach that dance, as to the rest of the class. Like they could practice the dance and then show it to the rest of the class if they're brave. I don't make them dance if they don't want to, not in front of the class. And then the final one, May Saves the Day, my friend Lisa had sent me this link from Carly and Adam for it's very similar with the STEM bins. But what they do is they have the students spell out their name. And I was like, oh, this would be fun too. They could come after reading about teamwork, they could come up with a team name for themselves to use all school year. And then they could build their team name out of whatever STEM supplies you've put in those bins. So those are just other activities that you could swap out to make the lesson your own. And I give 5 to 10 minutes just because I only have the kids for 40 minutes. But if you have them longer, you can certainly give them more time to try a more in-depth STEM challenge. The other thing about this lesson is you don't have to use it for the beginning of the school year. You can use it before a big STEM project to do some practicing. If you swap it out for the dancing, you could do it during hour of code and tie in the coding blocks. So that's the other part I love about libraries. We might see an idea, but we can tweak it and really tie it in to when we want it and when our students really need it. So I'm going to switch back over, and I believe that was everything that I had. And I'll get
Yeah.
us back to the right slide.
Okay, awesome. And while you're doing that, I've been putting in the chat all of the links that you shared with us for your resources and the graphic organizer, the presentation, and then everything you just talked about with the books and the pages you just shared. So they're all in the chat, but we'll also send them in the email.
Perfect.
So this is everyone's time. If you have specific questions you'd like to ask, feel free to enter them into the chat now. I have two questions that I'll ask you now. I'll go through a few slides and then I'll come back to you so you can answer. The first is, how important is diversity and inclusivity when it comes to content being presented to your students? So that's one question. And the second question is, what is your favorite and most engaging way to use PebbleGo in the library? So I'll give you a few minutes to think about those while we go through the next few slides, and then I'll come back to you and read them again, and we'll
Okay.
watch to see if any other questions come up. So if you want to head over to the next slide. There we go. We have started a PebbleGo community, and my colleague Jenna G is on this webinar with us behind the scenes, making sure it's going smooth. And she's partnering with our other colleague, Jenna T, to build this community of leaders. And we would love for you to be involved. So if you have any questions, feel free to email them. On the slide here, you see their email address. Otherwise, we encourage you to apply, and you can use this bit.ly or QR code to get to the page where you would apply. On the next screen, on the next page, we are just really excited about back to school and making it even easier for you and your students to get into PebbleGo. So for a while now, you've been able to use Google Classroom. We've officially connected with Clever as a way for you to integrate, and we're working on an integration with ClassLink. So there's more to come on that. But if you're a Clever user, please reach out and we'd love to help you get set up. And on the next slide, you'll see that we are Tier 4 evidence criteria for ESSA, and we have some white papers that we did with the Penn Graduate School of Education. So if you're thinking this is all really fun and I want to do this, but I need some support in funding this wonderful tool, you might need to bring these resources to people on your curriculum team or within your district, and we're happy to support you and share more information if you need it. And then finally, on the next slide, you'll see that because you're attending this webinar live, we will be sending you a certificate of attendance. And I know in Minnesota, I used this to renew my teaching license. Depending on which state you're in, you might be able to use it too. Okay, now our final set of questions. I haven't seen anything come in the chat since I asked those first two, so I will ask you these questions, Jennifer. So the first question I have for you is, how important is diversity and inclusivity when it comes to content being presented to students?
I think it's very important, no matter what school you're at. I think we all have heard the expression that windows, and I think that's any resource now that we use with students, can be mirrors, windows, or sliding glass doors. So I think it's very important that at all times we're using examples of, like in PebbleGo, I love to use the biographies of like Katherine Johnson and other people during Coding Week or Women's History Month, to show like women and minorities who have really been successful. And I think it allows kids to see themselves and other people's experiences, but also maybe think about things they haven't thought about before. I teach at a school that has a low diversity. And so I think my students need it more than ever. They need to be able to, as they grow and go to college and careers, we need to lay the groundwork now at the elementary school level of showing them through books and through our online resources a lot of diversity and inclusivity to make sure that they're prepared for the future. And I think
Awesome.
it's a kind of goes along with what we're talking about today, teamwork, right? Like the more you read or study or learn about people from other backgrounds and experiences, the stronger your teamwork will be, because then you're going to have better communication strands with them.
Okay, and my final question for you is, what is your favorite and most engaging way to use PebbleGo in the library? I know it could be a whole nother webinar, but if you can sum it up in about a minute or two, we would love it.
Okay, so I love that Shannon McClintock from Iowa does the choice boards with students and embeds capstone and like capstone books and PebbleGo articles in her like holiday themed and just different choice boards that she does. So that's one of my, I started doing that during COVID after her idea. That's one of my favorite things to do. Every month I do like diverse and fun holidays, and I post it in our learning management system and send it out to parents like, keep the learning going. You can use these PebbleGo and Capstone resources to learn about um, whatever it is, a Hispanic Heritage Month or Labor Day or whatever is going on that month.
Awesome. Thank you. I don't see any new questions coming in. I do see a thank you from Debbie thanks for sharing some great ideas and wishing you a great back to school year. So at this time, I think we are going to end the webinar. Again, this will be recorded, so you can come back to it and watch it as many times as you need to and share it with your friends. And Kimberly or Kim, thanks so much for joining us, and I look forward to chatting with you and Jennifer in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar. Thank you again, Jennifer, for being our guest speaker host today. We appreciate it, and we can't wait to share this out with everyone who's attending live and has registered, and we'll find it on our website. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day, everyone.